it's Andrew Roberts here, CEO and founder of the Podiatry Hive. This video is going to really help you learn a fundamental lesson that's going to help you market your podiatry practice, help you gain a lot more people, prospects, a lot more customers, and even help you get a lot more of your existing clients coming back way more often, referring you more people, and ultimately consuming more of your solutions to their problems as well. So we're going to get straight into it. And the first thing I want to talk about is this definition between a strategic and a tactical executive, particularly a strategic or a tactical podiatry business owner. Now, a tactical executive or a tactical podiatry business owner, 90% of you are currently tactical. Now, tactical is focusing on more short term. So when it comes to marketing, you might do something like run an ad in the paper. A tactical decision could be where you do a direct mail campaign. A tactical decision could be where you do a referral campaign. So we obviously need tactical solutions in growing your podiatry practice. But we need to also understand there's this strategic executive. And only 9% of you are strategic. Strategic's more long term. Strategic's more what are we going to do to get our customer to come back more often? Strategic is what are we going to do to build more trust in our current database? Strategic's looking at, if you like, big picture ideas to really take your business to a whole new level. But what we ultimately want to focus on is this strategic tactical executive. And a strategic tactical executive is someone that's really good at coming up with long-term strategies, but has the ability to implement short-term tactical skills, short-term tactical strategies, if you like, that moves you towards your long-term goals. So you're very clear on where you're going to be over the next 5-10 years and what you're going to do from point A to point B tactically to get you there. Because I have met a lot of people that have the big ideas, terrible at execution, or the people that are good at execution but lack the bigger ideas. And in today's education delivery, what you're going to gain is how can you be this strategic tactical podiatrist that ultimately is going to improve your business by up to 400, 500, 600% over the oncoming years, and you'll see why as we go along. Now, the first thing and the first question that I want you to really think about and ask is, are your clients experts at what you do? Okay, I'm just going to ask that again. Are your customers experts at feet? And this poses a really interesting question because the reality is no, they're not. It's almost like if I was to, just to flip it into another industry for a moment, and if I'm going to employ someone to do my dry cleaning at home, so my carpet dry clean my couches, I'm not an expert at dry cleaning. Now, this is really important. Because I'm not an expert, there's an opportunity for me to be educated. Okay, so this is this enormous opportunity. Your goal as a strategic podiatrist is to better educate your prospects, become better informed, therefore better buyers. And by giving them further information, then they're going to become more informed, therefore they're going to be able to comfortably choose to either use you in the first place and or buy other items, other services that you're providing them. It'll make sense as we go along. So we're going to cover 5 things in this video. And bottom line, this video is designed to help you get just an enormous increase in your number of prospects. So the first thing is your stadium pitch. I'm going to then open you up into more depth around the power of education-based marketing. I'm going to then expand you to think about your broadest possible view. Then we're going to talk about using some market data and finally why you need to refer to your patients as clients instead of customers. Okay, so we'll make a lot more depth. But the first thing is your stadium pitch headline. So I want you for a moment to consider you've got a stadium of 50,000 people of your ideal client. So for interest's sake, let's assume they're all athletes. Okay, so there's opportunity for some biomechanics. Now, the thing is, you've got 50,000 people. Now, the rule is that They're going to attend your seminar, but they're not going to stay. Now, the thing is, what we want to look at is we firstly have got to come up with a headline that's going to appeal to them, okay? This is really, really important. We need to create a headline that's going to appeal to all of them. So, for example, if you use a headline on how to fix your foot problem, you're more than likely only going to appeal to only a fraction of them, okay? So this is really important because you want to make sure you've got a headline that has a very big mass appeal. We're going to talk about this a bit later. We've got to broaden your appeal. Your goal is to have a headline that's going to appeal to every single person in the room. So it could be something along the lines of 5 critical things you must know about the foot that's going to help you become an elite athlete. So, for example, if that room is full of athletes. So we want to make sure we're appealing. You want to come up with a stadium pitch, a headline pitch that's going to appeal to everyone. And the more people you can appeal to, the more effective your marketing is going to be. You'll understand why very, very shortly. Because at any one point in time, only 3% of people are currently buying from a podiatrist because they've got a foot problem, they've got either a toenail or a damaged foot or a pain in their foot or something's causing them or their orthotics are wearing out, whatever it is, only 3% of the population are buying now. Now, a lot of people ask me, well, how can you state this stat? Well, I run a lot of presentations and often I'll have a room of, say, 500 to 1,000 people. And I'll ask the audience, who in the room right now is in the market to buy furniture? And I'll get people to raise their hand. And almost always, there's about 3% of people that raise their hand. Same as buying a car, buying a holiday in the next week. And this is the thing, if I was to say anyone in the room right now got a foot problem, around about 3% of the population will raise their hand saying, yes, I'm in the market for a podiatrist right now, or new shoes or whatever it is. Now, 7% are open to it. So they may be thinking, oh, I've got a foot problem or my shoes are worn out, and they're open to doing something about that. Now, here's what's interesting. 30% are not even thinking about it, and another 30% think they're not interested. Now, 30% of people are definitely not interested, right? So they're either buying from a friend or they're just not interested in your marketing message. But the reason we want to think about this stadium pitch is, what can I do to educate people and tap into this 60% here that's currently you're not actually accessing through your marketing, through your education, because they're not even aware that you can add value to them. I'm going to show you how we can do that. This video is really, really all about that. And this is where we want to understand that you're an educator. This is this power of education-based marketing. It's your ability to influence them how a podiatrist can add value and fix their problem and or provide them with a solution, help them move from point A to point B. So for example, you might have an audience full of overweight people. You can do a whole session on why seeing a podiatrist could ultimately get them moving more, which can ultimately help them lose more weight. Now, just by mentioning that, you're starting to appeal to a bigger audience than just foot problem people, okay? So we'll get into a few more examples very, very shortly. But what we want to do is we want to shoot for the broadest possible view. The easiest way for me to demonstrate this is by providing you a few examples. So this is a true story. There's a company that was in the railway business. Now, the reality is, the business, when they were asked the question, what business are you in? They said, well, we're in the railway business. And the basic phenomenon is, yeah, we deal with railroads. But if we go a bit more strategic, they're not in the railway business, they're in the providing transport business. And the broadest possible view for them is to dominate all forms of transportation. So instead of thinking themselves of being in the railway business, they want to think in themselves as, how can we dominate all forms of transportation? Same as exercise equipment. So strategic, going out a little bit more, I'm a consultant. Now I'm a health and fitness expert. So it's not just we're selling exercise equipment, we're health and fitness experts. Another example, energy saving device through to energy consultant, through to energy conservation and green earth consultant. So a really good example here is there's a story of a mentor of mine that was working with a energy company that saw themselves as selling an energy saving device. And then he expanded them out to energy conservation and green earth consultant. And just this one expansion of view, then he got his sales reps to contact restaurants, and their first question was, would you like to minimize blackouts? Yes. Would you like to conserve energy? Would you like to ensure that you're not releasing emissions into the atmosphere? Yes. So by expanding their view, they were able to quadruple their amount of appointments through some education-based marketing. So what we want to do here, if we are going to expand out of podiatrist, we move from I help solve foot problems to I am an expert of the foot. So let's go up to a higher level. I am an expert in health and fitness. Because all of a sudden, if you become a broader expert, you're going to appeal to a lot more people. And ultimately, we can find multiple ways to link the foot to being an expert in health and fitness. I'll talk a little bit more about how we can do that shortly. So this is this whole power of education-based marketing. And so let's go into a bit more depth here. This is why we want to really understand and become experts about feet, and to educate your customers about why servicing the foot, why knowing everything about the foot, linking it to ultimate health, is very important for the customer. So I'm going to give you some statistics here. Some of you may have heard of these, and you may know these, but your customers, your clients don't. I'm going to call them clients, by the way. You'll know why shortly. So the feet contains a quarter of the bones in the human body. There's 26 bones, 33 joints, 107 ligaments. There's 19 muscles and tendons. Did you know that the average person takes 10,000 steps in a day? That's 115,000 miles in a lifetime. It's enough to circle the globe 4 times. In fact, the feet are used more than any other ligament in the body. The foot accounts for 25% of the bones in the human body, and the average woman walks more than 3 miles per day more than the average male. And by the way, they're doing this in heels. Okay? So many of them are creating unnecessary pressure on the foot at a much higher level than men. This is why women are way more likely to have foot problems than men. There's roughly 250,000 sweat glands on a pair of feet. In fact, the sweat glands produce as much as a pint of moisture each day. Can you imagine the bacteria in a shoe? Just from all the sweat coming out into that shoe each day, and all the damage that's being done to the inner layering of the shoe. Okay, so the pressure on the feet when running can be 4 times a person's weight. 9 out of 10 women wear shoes too small for them. Women experience foot problems 4 times more likely than men. Finger and toenails grow faster during hot weather, pregnancy, and teenage years. 75% of people experience foot problems at some stage in their lives. I mean, if we look at this, feet are some of the most overlooked pieces of the human body. How often do you really get your feet looked at? How often do you put them in for a service? I mean, we put our car in for a service and we get them to check the tyres. The tyres are the most used part of the car. They bore, they wear. Our feet are the most used part of the human body. They bore, they wear. It's important that we get them checked. It's important that we get them looked at. You see, the eyes may be the window of the soul. But if you really want to read the body, have a look at someone's feet. Foot ailments can often be the first sign of medical problems. They often can be the roadmap to your health. Did you know that you can pass a kidney stone by massaging the foot? If physical factors, untreated pain often leads to a person to move less, thus gain more weight. See, all of a sudden we can now link foot problems to weight gain. This is now expanding the view. Bad feet can cause someone to shift balance in unnatural ways, increasing the chance of falling and breaking a bone. So, obviously, an athlete, if they're running incorrectly, it can cause more chance of injury in other parts of the body. This is why it's so important that they have a foot assessment with a podiatrist. Chipped or cracked nails can often indicate signs of vitamin and mineral deficiencies. Red ulcers and burning feet can be a symptom of B12 deficiency or diabetes. Flat feet can be a sign of Raynaud's disease. The colouring, shape and texture of a person's feet can signal if they have diabetes, have poor circulation or heart problems. You see, if we expand you to being more of an overall health and fitness expert, you can start educating your customers on why the feet is so important to their overarching health. Now, all of a sudden, you're going to start appealing to more people that didn't even think that they needed to see a podiatrist. I mean, this is so important. There's so much opportunity for you with this. Some even say that the feet can indicate and give clues to someone's mental state. Dark patches of the skin on the toe pads can indicate depression. Did you know that depressed people walk on their toes? Therefore, bruises on the feet can indicate depression. Horizontal ridges on the toes indicate very high stress levels. Now, all this information is up to you, the expert, to educate your customer. They don't know this. You have a responsibility when we step into the podiatrist to become an educator, to become an expert. Remember, author is short for authority. We're going to teach a lot more about helping you become a key person of influence in your community. And ultimately, by educating your customers, by educating prospects, by getting out there doing talks, releasing information in the community, this is where you've got so much opportunity, so much bigger, it's so much broader than what you think. This is why I don't have a fear with competition. Because competition, you're all fighting for the 3%. But then what we need to do is to get the podiatry industry, this is my mission, to educate the community more so on how you can benefit and fix problems, etc. So this is why ultimately we want to focus on market data. It's way more powerful than product data. And by the way, it's more interesting. I just gave you an example of a whole lot of market data. So information on the fact that we walk 4 times on average around the globe, the fact that it's one of the most overused pieces of equipment, you can link it to the tyre. Being bored, we replace our tyres every year or every 2 years, okay? Why can't we get our feet checked and for those orthotics replaced, etc., whatever it's going to be to protect this valuable asset, etc. So ultimately, it boils down to looking at you call them patients. I don't know why they've been given this name. And then we take it up another level. We've got patients, in my world, is the same as customer. This is why we want to refer to them as clients. If you take an accountant or a lawyer, let's take a lawyer. A lawyer refers to them as clients. Why? Because they're going to fight for their client. So if you want to expand your view, you are going to fight for your customers, e.g. clients, health. You're not just going to focus on their foot, you're going to focus on the total package. So ultimately, if you refer to them as a client, you're going to go beyond feet here. You're going to be looking at solutions to their health. You're going to provide them with, it's up to, in my opinion, it's up to you to actually educate them on what they can do to lose the weight, to minimize the pressure on their feet. If you treat them as a client, it boils down to how much do I love my client, and what am I going to do to fight for them? And what am I going to do to educate them to become the best person that they can be? This is when you actually expand your mission and you get this big desire to get out there into the community and start really making a difference. And when you do this, your customers, your clients will feel the love. They'll come back more and more often. They'll refer their friends and family more often. You'll see, You'll be able to replicate this information on your websites, in your marketing material, you can start writing articles in local magazines, in papers, getting into the shoe shops, all of this information. So this is the question I want you to really think about now. But what can you do to make your clients more successful around your product or service? What can I do to educate them more? What can I do to help them learn more about what we do to fix their problems? And so just to summarize what we've just covered, we looked at your stadium pitch, expanding it. We looked at the power of education-based marketing, increasing that to the broadest possible view. Ultimately, you moving from being an expert of feet to an expert of health and fitness. Using market data, I gave you a whole lot of stats, referring to them as clients, fighting for your clients. And so what I want you to do now, the next best step that you can do, is to actually pull your team into a room and brainstorm what else can we do to educate our clients on how we can fix their problems. How else can we be perceived as an expert? What's our mission? Why do we exist? What business are we really in? That's such a powerful question. What business are we really in? You see, the train company said it was in train transportation, but really the business they're actually in is in transportation. It doesn't matter. And by broadening that view, you can start looking at other solutions and services that you can provide to your clients and ultimately give them a better experience, more love, better education, and a fantastic solution, ethically, mind you. So I hope you got some value out of today's video. Love to hear comments for those that would like to speak to us. Thank you very much, and we'll see you on another video. Take care.